past weekend, I was trying to download this and every time nothing would come up.
Are you serious?
Gotcha.
Hi, everybody. Oh, Hannah, I don't,
Hello.
I'm not sure who followed, but we're at 9 out of 10 followers instead of 8, which is what it was at before we started.
Ooh,
That's exciting.
exciting.
Hi, everybody. We're trying this out. I'm not sure um, if it sounds good or not. My phone,
Yeah, hopefully.
Sarah Dillon 24 says, "Hey, hi." Uh, I don't know if we know that person. That'd be cool if they're not someone we know.
Yeah.
Also cool if we know you. Like, hi.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Um,
I've never done a streaming thing before, so this is new to me.
yeah, it can be kind of awkward, but it's really nice to have that like live audience to interact with.
Yeah, I just hope I don't stumble over my words as much.
It's okay. That's all I do. So, but if you are just joining us, we should probably say Megan is alive and okay, but I think she had to do laundry, so she couldn't be here.
That and then she's moving on top of everything. She's a busy gal.
Yeah. Eddie says, "Is she though?" I don't know. I guess she could
She
be
does
lying.
she does procrastinate a lot, so it wouldn't shock me.
I feel like I don't know if you do, but I for sure procrastinate, so
Oh yeah, especially with laundry. I can't blame her on that one.
yeah, I force myself to do it once a week. If I don't, it would never happen. But so yeah, it's
Same.
me and Hannah tonight. And um, do you want to say did you say you wanted to go first? It's up to you. I don't care.
Um, I'll go first, yeah. Cuz
Okay.
your topic, I don't even know what direction you're going in, so it's like, ooh, save that for
Mine's
last.
it's more like just like a history and like a wow that's fucked up kind of thing.
Oh god. I
So
saw the pictures you shared on the
mm,
Google Drive and I was like, what the hell is she doing?
yeah, that's actually like the few good pictures I could find. But yeah, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think I have like the same repetitive photos and then I have a video on there where I try cuz explain when I get into my stuff, but I tested out a theory that people say that happens when you go on Google Earth.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I was kind of shocked, but also it could be anything. But technology is really good at covering up stuff. So,
Uh, I don't I feel like someone mentioned that. Maybe you mentioned it in our chat, but yeah, I'm super interested to hear about this.
yeah, and originally, which sounds really strange, my original topic was supposed to be black-eyed children. And I
Oh.
remember specifically like hearing stories, reading stories, and all these accounts and like people writing their encounters with them. And I swear to God, a whole weekend I could not find one piece of evidence, and then all of a sudden it's a folklore, it's a like a legend, something to say to kids so they don't go out at night. And I'm like,
Mm,
what?
FBI
I
found
just
you.
couldn't, yeah, I couldn't find anything. Like I was
That's
like,
yeah,
and
you're
even oh, sorry, I just keep talking over you.
it's okay. It's okay. This is what happens. I was just gonna say I think the Men in Black uh might have hacked you.
Yeah, and even like I remember hearing about the hollow earth theory, which is what I'm doing, and it took so long to find like the story. And even I remember a story a different way than what they're presenting it. So it's strange to me. I don't understand what's happening, but if the government is listening, I will gladly go to Hollow Earth
Oh, you're
if it's
offering?
real. Yeah, I'm offering my assistance.
Oh my God, that's so brave.
I know.
Maybe that's just where they where they dump you anyways for talking about it, kidnap you and just throw you
I
in there.
know. Y
Oh,
yeah, and that's, like, the interesting part of it, because one of these witnesses actually just disappears out of thin air.
oh God.
Yeah, so that's a really strange thing, and like I said earlier when we were talking, this, like, I guess it's conspiracy theory, legend, whatever you wanna call it, you would think there would be a lot more people coming forward with their stories, fake or real, but there's only, like, 5 key people that tell their story, and that's it. Like, I'm surprised there isn't more.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
shocks me.
with how many people talk about like flat Earth and stuff, I feel like Hollow Earth is a way more believable kind of thing because I mean, we have technology and cameras and we can see that the Earth is round, but the Hollow Earth thing could be more plausible, I guess.
Yeah, and I tried to deep dive into, like, the science aspect of it too, not to bore anyone, but, some holes I found in this theory is the gravity part, but also apparently we've only, dug 8 it's either 80 or 8 miles into the Earth's crust, and we had to stop because it was too hot.
Oh,
So, yeah, and I don't know, maybe you have to get past a certain point, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but I was thinking like I was one, I can tell you that. I was like, "Hmm." I almost called up Einstein and went like, "Tell me about
eh,
it."
even though he's dead, it's okay.
Yeah,
You,
I'll
you're like,
just
hold on,
contact him.
you're gonna
Yeah,
do a
I'll
seance.
contact him. Yeah, I was getting into it, and then I was like, I mean, I can't, clarify if this is, like, true science or whatever, because like I said, not a science major, but I found it interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, so I do have some photos and videos on the doc,
Oh,
but
okay.
I will say, um, I might go off on a little bit of tangents, but there is some, like, I guess, quote unquote, monologues that I have to read because the main story I'm focusing on is from a guy named Richard E. Byrd, and he was an American naval officer and explorer in the 1920s. And he is a military man. He has the highest badge of honor. And the one thing I found out about him is that he was actually a Freemason.
Oh, really?
Yes, which in the 20s basically means like it was all political. So they kind of had authority over authorities. And it's almost like you could think of it as like a mob mentality nowadays, where they can kind of like sway, like it was like they could talk back to like people higher up. It's a strange concept. I know tons of people have different definitions for it, but that's kind of what I found about the Freemasons. It's really political and very how this uh, how the United States runs type of way.
Hmm.
So he is a very high up man, but also another thing I found out, which is very interesting to me, is that his friends, his like actual friends, they would also fund the trips. They are the Rockefellers and the Fords.
Oh my God.
So,
Like the two
2
richest families?
yeah, the 2 richest families basically in the world at this time and even now. they would fund his trips, and he is known for his long trips. Obviously, the one I'm talking about is him going to it's the North Pole, and this is where he apparently runs into the Hollow Earth, or there's a name for this place. It's oh my god, I can't even pronounce it. That's why I'm calling it Hollow Earth. I think it's like Agartha. I believe that's what it's called.
I can't help you there.
I'm
We'll
pretty
say
sure it's
that's right.
Agartha. We'll say it's right.
Yeah.
So he's famous for his expeditions. Like he is the top explorer. Obviously, he was in World War One and Two. Um, he is trusted by the military. Very I would say probably he's not like up there with like the secret like service, but he had a lot of responsibilities in the government and he was sent on missions a lot. So I would think they he was a very trustworthy person.
Okay.
So his expedition that I'm talking about was in 1947. And the thing about Richard is that he recorded every expedition he went on. So it was, I forget if he wrote it just in a book or he actually had like a notebook, but every hour he would just log like, okay, we traveled this many miles and we had to stop at this point for fuel, like basically logs. And they also had radios where they could communicate, but obviously back then we have no way to get those records. So it's pretty much up in the air for information and facts. Um Sorry, I'm like trying
No,
to see, I'm like adding stuff as I'm reading because I'm like remembering it.
you're good. Is
But
there a certain picture you want me to put up right now that you want everyone to see? I had the one of the bird guy. That's what I'm gonna call him.
the bird guy.
Yeah, Robert E. Byrd or whatever his name is.
Oh,
Robert E.
yeah, you
Lee.
can pull up, yeah, you can pull up his mug.
All right.
Yeah, so um he what was I saying? I'm like trying to pull up the drive so I can see what I forget what photos I put on there. But um let me get to it. I should have had this up, but we live and we learn.
Yeah, I should have had your photos uploaded in my computer, but it's okay. This is how we do
That's
the
okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're keeping it real.
so so Robert E. Lee, obviously I believe he was in the Navy, obviously, if he's or the Air Force if he is trusted to drive planes. Let's see. So he would record every page, or he would record everything that was going on. Even during this 1947 trip, he had another guy with him on a plane. So there was two planes. And at the last minute, he had to stop because his buddy had an oil leak. So I would say about probably, I think it was like 1,000 or 2,000 miles away from where he witnessed Hollow Earth is when he was alone. So he was alone through all this. I mean, there was another person on the plane with him, but he didn't have more men with him, which I find weird, but we
Yeah, like
still
why
got to
would you
hear the
go
story.
why would you yeah. Keep going.
No, yeah, I mean, he from what I've reading about him, and I didn't put this on the doc, he seemed like he pushed the limits. Like he went the furthest than anyone has ever gone. Like he's gone medals, he was involved in tons of um not secret societies. Why was I gonna say that? Like clubs, very like military-esque um clubs. And it even at one point it even told me like what rank he was in this club. And I'm like, Damn, I didn't know that it was this serious, but okay.
Well, they really were interested.
Yeah. So during this time where the other plane basically left, um it's very wishy-washy with his notes that he wrote about flying over the North Pole, or I yeah, the North Pole. And it's all by memory, he said, but for some reason, some of the pages are missing from his book.
Oh,
And you'll find out later why they were probably missing in the first place, but it seems like it could go either way with it being kind of fake or just like a fabrication of a story, even though I really want to believe this. So I'm really gonna drive it home for everyone to believe it because I think it's fun. But
yeah.
so
That's the good part about a
uh
conspiracy theory is that it could possibly be true. That's up to you to decide.
yeah, I mean, MK Ultra, no one believed it for the longest time, and then government documents came out. So you just never know.
Mm,
Uh,
why did
but
Zoom? Hold on. Oh my God. Zoom just sent me a message and said um, that we have 10 minutes left.
I
Yeah, I'll handle it. You can keep going.
okay. so So we don't know if these missing pages were purposely misplaced or if they are just fabrications, but they do have some document I don't want to say documentation because I've tried to look for actual documentations like if someone photocopied like his pages, which I would think they would if they still had the book. But from everything I've read, it says the same thing over and over again, which is also very easy to do if you want to fake something. But we're just going to say what we're reading is what's actually on his journal. So let me see. Okay, so I have a lot of quotes I'm going to start reading. So if my reading starts to get a little choppy, just know blame my dyslexia. Anyways, um, so one of the quotes was during his Arctic flight of 1,700 miles beyond the North Pole, he reported by radio that he saw below him not ice and snow, but land areas consisting of mountains, forests, green vegetation, lakes, and rivers. In the underbrush, saw a strange animal resembling a woolly mammoth. Now, this is where like logic sinks in. Like, hey, we know the Arctic is cold as hell, you know?
Yeah,
Why the hell would climates change so dramatically? And the thing is, I also read is that it's a consistent temperature, which in just anyone's knowledge, weather changes every day, every hour, every minute. So how could this area be so consistent with not only weather, but be luscious and green inside a frozen tundra?
yeah.
And this is where I was like, okay, this is weird. Oh, I just got the same message.
Oh, you should be good.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
if it kicks you out, I'll just send you another invite and hopefully that'll be good because I just did the subscription, so
oh God, why? Why we gotta pay for everything?
we wouldn't if Discord wasn't trying to kill us, but
No kidding. Oh
we'll
God.
figure it out for next time, but this one will just be a I'll just send you another invite if you disappear and you can join again.
Okay. So to continue on, when he said a strange animal resembling a woolly mammoth, I was like, okay, you know, why? Why a woolly mammoth? And the
Some
thing about
Skyrim
it is
shit.
that, yeah, the thing about it is that woolly mammoths were around. Well, I guess no, they were during the Ice Age and summertime, if you will. But it seems weird. And I know there's movies that are kind of based off the Hollow Earth theory, which is Journey to the Center of the Earth, which a lot of people believe that another alternative theory is that people believe the Hollow Earth is basically what was it? It's like time travel stuck. So everything in the past is there. That's why people say they see dinosaurs, blah blah blah. Do I believe that's real? No. But do I know a lot about time travel? Absolutely not. But I digress. So, this next quote is in January 1956, Admiral Byrd led another expedition to the Antarctic and there penetrated for, yeah, this is penetrated. Okay. For 2,300 miles beyond the South Pole. The radio announcement at this time, which was January 13th, said on January 13th, members of the United States expedition penetrated a land extent of 2,300 miles beyond the pole. The flight was made by Rear Admiral, oh my God, I can't read, George Dufek. And no, I'm
Wait,
not making up that last. Yeah,
do fuck.
it's D. Yeah, it's Dufek, Dufek.
Do fuck. Cool.
Yeah, and he was an admiral for the United States Navy Air Unit. So they knew how far he was traveling beyond the South Pole, which give or take what that means. I don't know what that means, but I felt like it was important information. So obviously within the government, they knew about these expeditions. They were basically paid for by the Rockefellers and Fords, and more admirals and higher up in the military people knew how far he was traveling, even beyond the point that he was supposed to. So Byrd said on, or Byrd or Richard, I'm going to say those names. It refers to Richard as Byrd a lot.
Richard Byrd.
Bird's Richard E. Byrd. So it said on March 13th, 1956, the present expedition has opened up a vast new land. So again, he went there twice, and both times he has interacted with the Hollow Earth and the beings that are supposedly there. So again, at this expedition, he says it opened up to a vast new land. Admiral Byrd said in February 1947, which now jumps back in time to that first incident where um, he first saw Hollow Earth. He said, I'd like to see that land beyond the pole. The area beyond the pole is the center of the great unknown. And this is the 1920, well, now 1940s. So a lot of stuff, you know, they didn't know as much as we do now. I mean, they had a good concept of what was out there, but not something that was abnormal like this.
Mhm.
So then as they got to the Hollow Earth entrance, Richard said that he felt like he had no control over the plane. So he felt like there was this like invisible force that was almost guiding the plane. And at this point, I think it was like over the hole. He said that he could feel like the pressure of something bringing the plane down. And
Weird.
he had no control over his plane devices. He couldn't steer it, nothing. So obviously some force was taking his plane and safely and softly landing it for him. And that's when he saw these Excuse me, I almost burped. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's also that type of podcast.
Yeah, just raw and real.
Yeah.
But he was met with two humanoid creatures who were tall and beautiful. And so now these are some of his quotes that are from the book. Let me see. Okay. Okay, yes, I got the right one. So it says, so as he's landing, he is met with these two creatures, which their appearance, I've only seen a couple things that describe their appearance,
Mhm.
and it's tall, white, and lanky. And someone said they're as tall as 12 feet tall, which that is
Gosh.
way too fucking tall.
Unless they're
Um,
like giants.
yeah, and that's what they're referred to in this one thing I was reading about like in depth. And it was weird to me because if they're as if they're very human like, but obviously you'll find out they're more advanced. There's this thing about gravity. So, when you're further away from the Earth's core, the less gravity you need. I wrote it on the notes. I could be completely wrong, but the closer you are to that core is when gravity kind of gets wonky. So that's why their bodies are quote unquote built like that.
Well, I've heard that like compasses and stuff get really weird by the poles. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that he talked about in I guess his pages. Um Everything was just kind of out of whack. There wasn't like true north anywhere, nothing. So the one thing I learned about gravity is that it keeps you off centered when if Hollow Earth was in fact a real thing. So you would be really off balance, which would make sense with if they're tall and lanky, because obviously evolution, your body grows to your environment.
Mhm.
So makes sense, but also 12 feet tall, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
If they said like 9 or 10 feet, I'd be like, that's a little more believable. But
12 is like I think my ceiling isn't even 12 feet tall.
yeah,
So
like how the hell are you gonna greet them? Like, I'm gonna have neck pain.
just talking to him.
Yeah, it's an I, it's hard to think about. And the one thing I remember reading about before doing this research is that they were of an Aryan race. So it was blonde hair, blue eyes. And doing research, I tried to look for this information. I could not find it anywhere. And I was like, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Nope. I remember hearing about this and even I watched videos on it. Like it really just gives the bare amount of information. So I had to dig for this
Oh God.
information. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't understand if it's like a Mandela effect or if like I just absorbed so much weird shit as a kid that I'm mixing shit up. I don't know.
Same.
But so yeah, so as these two humanoids kind of lead him to a place where basically they call them like I've only seen one thing where they call them a specific name. They call them the elder race, where they are the more obviously like the older people of the tribe. They're wise. And I guess they kind of have like the same system as us surface people, which that's what they call us. They would call us surface people, which I think is kind of funny, but
So I want
also
that's gonna be my bio description on like all my social media surface person.
just a surface person living. But it's it gets weird because I'll just read it. It just gets weird and it makes it a little more hard to believe. But then when you kind of dig into stuff, you kind of realize, like, this could be true, but also, like, I want to experience it for myself. So, again, any government officials, if you can give me information on the down low, or you know what, take me to the North and South Pole. I mean, I want to see what's down there.
Yeah, hand will go.
FBI, open
Yeah,
up!
I'm an explorer. I'm not a good explorer, but I'm an
I'll go with.
explorer.
Actually, no, I won't go with. I don't like cold or hot.
I I don't like cold either, but like if I get to see a 12-foot humanoid, I mean my life is complete.
Okay, that's true.
But obviously, National Geographic would probably have to sponsor it, which is weird because after this expedition and this story came out, which I'm going to read to you shortly, um National Geographic posted an article, and I think it was pretty much the whole magazine about his experience, and the government, quote unquote, literally bought most of the copies. So even someone who has bought a copy, it is like ultra rare that they someone would have it,
Mhm.
which blows my mind. But also the government did kill Kennedy, so
That's that's true. And well, they've killed a lot of people. So yeah, I
oh
believe it.
yeah. Yeah. This is like nothing to them. So
Stop doing that. Talking to myself.
so Byrd, or Richard, now is in the presence of basically the elder one. So the one that will be talking to him. So one of the quotes, and they talk really like good. I don't know how else to say it. So don't mind me if I'm just like
They
Patrick
talk
Star
good.
over here. Yeah, they talk good. I'm gonna be like Patrick Star, like, duh, what does that word say? So
Okay.
the elder one says, I bid you welcome to our domain, Admiral. So at this point, the elder one already knows who he is. He he talks to him by his military name, Admiral. Obviously, he doesn't say his full name, but just to know his military status is like, that's a little creepy. Why do you know this? What happened?
Mm,
Um, and he says, Byrd says the man has delicate features, and with etching of years upon his face, he is seated at a long table. He motions me to sit in one of the chairs. After I am seated, he places his fingertips together and smiles. Now, if that doesn't scream The Simpsons to me, I don't know what does.
so I was picturing a Simpsons cartoon type person.
Yeah, and it only gets weirder. So he speaks softly again and conveys the following. We have let you enter here because you are of noble character and well known on the surface world, Admiral.
Mm,
So, with the knowledge that this elder one has, how does he keep tabs on the surface world? That's what I want to know.
lizard people.
See, and that's what makes me question their intelligence, because for some weird reason, I have it written on my iPad. I didn't include it in these notes, but they talk about how they can like not like communicate with their minds, but they're very powerful with their minds. Like they're like an all-knowing thing. It's really weird. But also this is described in Buddhism, Hinduism, and the same type of hollow earth theory that I'm running through right now corns or correlates with those religions, which is very, very strange to me. This is what makes me want to believe it,
Mhm.
because why? I mean, they have no reason to lie, but also, people can debate it's religion. People make up things in religion all the time. We just don't know.
What the fuck?
but my question still stands.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I know you can't hear it because I haven't figured that out yet, but I have sounds that people can play on the stream while it's live, and Eddie just played one, it scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
It
I
was so
see
loud.
it. I see it. Oh my god.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
But yeah, how can they keep tabs? How can they know? And how do they know this information? And see, this is why the government needs to send me to the North Pole.
Well, I'll tell him. We'll
Yeah,
get you there.
because I'll ask all the questions. I'll be the Barbara Walters of the alien race, you know? Like I will I mean, here's the thing. I'm a really big gossiper and I like to tell everyone I love to tell secrets. So would they really trust me? No. But would would it be in good hands? I think yes.
Yeah, I think they should choose you. We'll start a petition. I mean, we've got 6 people here right now. We can totally get 6 signatures on there.
Hell yeah. The government will government send Hannah to the North Pole. So, and then to continue, Byrd says, "Surface world? What the hell is that?" Well, he doesn't say what the hell is that. It says, "I half gasped under my breath."
Oh, sorry. He's very professional.
Yes, very professional. And they kind of they mentioned the eldest one as master, which is weird. You would
Mm-hmm.
think if they're of a different race, they would come up with a better word than master, but you know, to each their own.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to call him the wise one. The wise one says, "You are in the domain of the, damn, Ar- Ariani." it's not
Ariani.
Ariana. It's not Ariana Grande, but it kind of looks like it. If it was like the Italian version of Ariana.
We'll say it's Ariana Grande for sake
Yes.
of making things better, like easier to say.
Yes. So the domain of Ariana Grande, the inner world, which I think is cool that they kind of say surface world and then inner world. So he's basically saying, yes, you are in the domain of the inner world of Earth. And then he continues and says, "We shall not long delay your mission." And I'm like, huh? Mission? Like Scooby Doo when he's like, huh? that
Exactly.
was that was me. I was like, huh? And then he continues. This is where I kind of call bullshit because it's like, really, this mission of his he was supposed to do, it didn't do jack shit, but who knows? So it says, "And you will be safely escorted back to the surface and for a distance beyond. But now, Admiral, I shall tell you why you have been summoned here." And I'm like, "Summoned here? What do you mean?" So they would have to be at least knowledgeable about his trips, which means they have some spies in their government.
Yeah, and they have some sort of control over things that are happening.
Yes, which begs me to believe that we humans are not the top dog in this world,
I can see that. I agree.
which is, it's a scary thought, but also like if if things did want to ruin our race, they would have done it a long time ago.
True. Unless it's
They
like a
would
slow
not
burn.
Yeah, they would not let little teenagers do TikTok dances on the internet, you
Um,
know?
my beer just almost went out my nose.
uh, but, anyways, so he continues on and says, "Our interests rightly begins just after your race exploded the first atom over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan." I can't believe I said Nagasaki right the first time. I'm hoping I said that right because now I'm second guessing.
He's playing sad R.I.P. music.
Oh Yes, RIP. So, this is where it kind of makes sense because a long time ago I read um there like the moon mission how Neil shit is it's not Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
Yes, Buzz Aldrin. Okay. So, they remember Buzz Aldrin he shared one time he's in like this secret protective group. Oh God, I wish I could remember the guy's name. He's been on tons of podcasts where he talks about the alien race. And Buzz Aldrin said that the government obviously tried to kill him because he leaked out that um these aliens basically want to keep the earth intact as much as it can and in its original form. So obviously, yeah, when you drop an atomic bomb in Japan, the whole galaxy has something to worry about.
Hmm.
So that does make sense, the quote unquote mission, because obviously that affects inner earth too.
Yeah.
um and then it goes on and says, it was at the alarming time we set our flying machines, which they call them, or flying machines, the, oh, Jesus Lord, how do you say, flugellards?
I
You
have
know
no,
what?
no.
Oh, you broke up. I did not hear that.
Oh, I said I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, I just sent it in the chat. That's exactly how it's spelled. And
On
I am,
on Facebook?
no, shit, Twitch, in the
Oh,
like,
oh, I see it. It took a second to pop up. Flu I have never seen that word in my life.
I
Flugelrads?
know. I almost wanna like actually I'm gonna flu gel rads.
Flugela
Okay.
Flugel Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa. They're an actual aircraft that looks like a UFO.
Oh, okay.
Apparently
Thank you.
BMW made one. It says BMW Flugel rads.
Here, I'll look
Sure.
it up and I'll show it real quick. One, you can keep going.
Okay, so that's what he calls the machines, the flying machines. And then he continues to say, to your surface world to investigate what your race has done. So basically, they were like, shit, what damage did these fucking humans do? Let's see. And then he continues and says, that is, of course, past history now, my dear Admiral. Oh my God, Admiral. See, this is what happens when I talk too much. But I must continue on. You see, we have never interfered before in your race's wars and or racist wars, but now we must. For you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not your for man, namely that of atomic energy. Our emissaries have already delivered a message to the powers of your world, and yet they do not heed. Now you have been chosen to be witness here to they're like I said, their English is bad. I swear. Sometimes I think it's me, but then I reread it and it's not.
Why
So
they're talking like Shakespeare. Like just say what you need to say.
exactly. Don't be fancy with it.
Yeah.
So and then now you have been chosen to be witness here that our world doesn't exist. Our world does exist. You see, our culture and science is many thousands of years beyond your race, Admiral. Admirable. Blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows it's a military rank, okay, people? I'm so sorry. I can't say words anymore. So, and then he says, but what does this have to do with me? And this is like, I guess, taken from his notes. So this is why I'm kind of reading it because I can't fair or paraphrase it very well. But It says the master's eyes seemed to penetrate deeply into my mind, and after studying me for a few moments, he replied. So that makes me think, why are you staring at me for so long? You know, like, what are you doing to my mind? And the fact that obviously us humans, we might not be as smart as this race, quote unquote, but why? But us as humans, we know when something is wrong. We have intuitions, we have our instincts. So this makes me think he's kind of reaching for an answer that won't frighten him, which makes sense as to why he's not really like frightened. But also during this time in the military, like they had to witness some gruesome shit. Obviously Alicia probably knows more of the history than I do, but it's
It's
I can
debatable.
imagine what they would have seen. Oh, debatable.
Yeah, I didn't pay that much attention.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, I don't know shit, but I can only imagine. I heard some stories just in general about war and what people had to go through. So, if he's that high in rank and has this many responsibilities, I'm pretty sure he's seen a couple things that are beyond him. So, the master says, your race has now reached the point of no return. For there are those among you who would destroy your very world rather than relish their power as they know it.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, well, this was in 1945. Bitch, tell me, are those people dead? Like, I don't want this
Yeah,
world's already
they still
shit.
here. We already have enough bullshit to worry about.
Exactly. Like, we don't need some Hitler number two coming in being like, let's do another atomic bomb. Like, no.
Let's enslave people. Yeah, we've got COVID and we're all poor, so
Yeah, we got enough shit on our plate right now, okay?
agreed.
So I guess the master continues, and this is what I find interesting, but also I don't know any of the facts, but I like to think it's true. It says in 1945 and afterwards, we tried to contact your race, but our efforts were met with hostility. Our flying machines were fired upon, yes, even pursued with missiles and atom bombs. We're just gonna say bombs. I can't say the word.
It's okay.
Um, and by fighter planes. And I forget when Roswell happened. I think it was around this time or the 50s.
Um, I just Googled it when you said 1945, and Roswell happened August 16th, 1945. So,
Wow, look at detectives.
what?
Mystery gang. So so now he continues and he says, so now I say to you, my son. And I'm like, oh, anyone that says my son, they
My
mean
son.
business.
Yeah.
I would not fuck with that man. I'd be like, whatever you say.
Does he call him daddy in response?
You know what? It would have been great. And if I go there, I will be saying daddy.
Good. I would hope you
The
would.
yeah, oh god. I would either piss my pants or I would be like, this isn't real life.
Hopefully it's fun.
Oh
You'll have to
god.
write us a letter.
Yeah, I'll send it in their in the flu gel rads.
Yeah, send it in a flugel rad. I'll keep my eye open
I'm
for it.
I'm so glad Eddie put the actual like pronunciation of it because every time I'm like, shit, how do you say it? And I look and
Yeah,
I'm
but
like, that's how
wh
you do it.
why does Eddie know the word flugel rads? I've never seen that before. Whatever. Keep going.
So he continues and says, so now I say to you, son, there is a great storm gathering in your world, a black fury that will not spend itself for many years. There will be no answer in your armies. There will be no safety in your science. It may rage on until every flower of your culture is trampled and all human things are leveled in vast chaos.
Okay.
And if I got told that, I would actually be shitting my pants.
I'd
And
probably pass out, to be honest.
he said Black Fury.
Great sea
Like,
black
what
fury.
could possibly be a Black Fury that happened between 1945 and now? I mean, hopefully there wasn't. Hopefully he did his mission, but like also aliens, if you're listening to this podcast, all wise one master, you are so wise beyond your years. Why not just poison the fuckers? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just take them out.
Yeah. And you know what? They probably did. And if they did, thank you. Because if I had to go back to the Stone Age, I would not survive.
No. I need my internet, please.
Oh my god. I can't even like everyone makes fun of me for the way I run. Imagine me running from a woolly mammoth.
People make fun of me for the way I run.
Oh god.
Yeah,
It's
it wouldn't be good. Like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, I have the internet and like all these things within like an arm's reach of myself. And it's like, if I didn't have this, what do you do all day? Like, what did they do before the internet?
that and then imagine how dumb you would be.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't know shit.
I don't know what's poisonous and like what's okay to eat and how to, I mean, I could probably figure out how to start a fire, but it's going to take me a while.
God. And you know, I would say the same thing, but it's because I know what to look for now. Imagine if I was just popped out of a vagina and I was like, "Oh, my mom was like, "Oh, okay, figure out the world." I would be dead by the age of 2.
Yeah, like what cats do to their kittens are just like, well, see you later.
Yeah, I would be the runt of the litter that gets stepped on somehow.
I'd get hit
It's
by a car.
it's insane to me. And the thing is, that whole sentence, it keeps going. And now I'm just like, what the heck? So, the master continues and he says, "Your recent war was only a prelude to what is yet to come for your race. We here see it more clearly with each hour. Do you do you say I am mistaken?" And he answers no. And I'm guessing because he's a military man, he sees what's going on.
Hmm.
And he probably knows more than just any human watching. Actually, they didn't have televisions back then, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um and then it says it once happened. Oh god, okay, this is where it comes in. So the master says it happened once before. The dark ages came and they lasted for more than 500 years. And oh wait, no, Byrd said that. Sorry, this is kind of choppy. So then the master replies, "Yes, my son, the dark ages that will come now for your race will cover the earth like a pall." Don't know what pall is, but I believe that some of your race will live through the storm beyond that. I cannot say. We see at a great distance of new world stirring from the ruins of your race, seeking its lost and legendary treasures. They will be here, my son, safe in our keeping. When that time arrives, we shall come forward again to help revive your culture and your race. And then Byrd says, perhaps, or he continues, perhaps by then you will have learned the futility of
Futility.
futility, yes, of war and its strife. And after that time, certain of your culture and science will be returned to your race to begin anew. You, my son, are to return to the surface world with this message. How the hell are you going to tell the government this message and be like, yeah, we're fucking screwed?
Well, first of all, you have to start that with, so I found these giants, and they're just not going to listen to a word you say after that.
Yeah. And then you got to say, oh, yeah. And I also saw something that looked like a willy fucking mammoth.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, this
Uh,
guy's. nuts.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, I guess people that are higher up than Richard would know why or know of this if it is real. But yeah, why single out Richard out of everyone? But I guess he was doing the expedition, so it does make sense. But like, why out of everyone, Richard?
yeah, it's weird how it's always like just one person that gets singled out in these types of things. But something
Yeah,
that
I mean, but it. I was gonna say it does make sense because he's the only one that obviously um rode an airplane to the fucking North Pole. So that makes sense. He's the only one that has the ability to push past that point and go that far. But also like did they plan it? Like
yeah,
did they put something in someone's mind? I don't know.
it seems like they have like that enough control seemingly with everything he said that that could have been possible.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it makes sense, but also it just seems so far fetched in a way.
The thing that's like stood out to me as like super interesting is I'm talking about um like ending human life right now and like starting us over again. But that's like a big theory. That's very um that's been very researched that like there's all this evidence that um long before us, like ancient civilizations and stuff, had technology. And I'm not talking about like ancient alien shit like laser guns and stuff, but like, and not internet, but like ways, things that are gone now because of time and just erosion and it's buried and it's gone. But they had these things that we have no idea. Like when I went to, and when we were in Pompeii, this, they didn't have electricity. They didn't have like anything. Like these people where it was very primitive living, but they had pipes they had plumbing. They had indoor plumbing. And this was thousands and thousands of years ago. They had indoor plumbing.
Yeah, it's and the fact that like they bring up the dark ages, it's almost like a cycle that kind of goes in and out because obviously people are finding humanoid remains from way before what we think the humans started. And I don't know, it's just interesting to me that these wars, and especially I believe this is after World War II, like after all these wars and all this like bloodshed and just awful shit, they're like, hey, listen up. These fucking wars, you have another one, everyone's fucking dead.
Yeah.
And like, we haven't had a world war since obviously Vietnam and then the Iraq war. But like, I don't know. It makes sense, but it doesn't. And then nowadays, if there's a war, damn, the world is over. We have our technology is so much more advanced that everyone would be screwed.
Well, yeah, it's terrifying. And we're like constantly like this is like the second time in like my lifetime that we've almost had a world war because of Russia. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I said, it's like you kind of it pulls you in, but then all of a sudden you're like, this there's a little bit of it that just seems too far fetched. But sometimes when stuff like that happens, like I know like MK Ultra, when that came to surface, like, oh yeah, this is like the government's like, oh yeah, it's true. We actually did mind control stuff on people. Like everyone's like, what the fuck? Like we all thought this was not even possible. And
Yeah.
even like government documents that still come out to this day, like people who are prisoners of war that get tortured, like there's this, they are taught in the military that if you say 5655, and you focus on that number and you keep there's like a certain like I guess meditation state they go into, like they no longer feel the pain. So if the enemy tries to get information from us, well, good fucking luck, because now they don't feel it, you know? So they will endure more torture. And obviously, if you're in that line of work, you're gonna die for your country. So they're not gonna get any answers, and there's just gonna be a dead guy.
God, I never heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I hear every day there's like government documents coming out all the time, whether they're just stupid things. Um, Obviously, there's been tons of things coming out about time travel that we can't actually time travel because um us going back in time it would be nothing. I forget exactly what it was, but like the quantum physics of it's not impossible, but like to time travel in the past would be absolutely useless because there wouldn't be anything in the past for you to see.
Yeah, the whole time travel thing is confusing to me because there's so many different theories like that I'm like, I'm just gonna say that we can't do it.
Yeah, and I think it's better to stay in the present, people. I mean, yes, would it be cool to time travel? Absolutely. But do I need to see future me? Absolutely not. I'll just get more depressed.
I don't want to see into the future.
Yeah. Um I can't believe we've already been here for like an hour. So, I'm going to try to hurry this up a little bit.
Okay.
But so that's the closing words. And then it says the meeting came to an end. I stood for a moment as if it was a dream, but yet I knew it was reality. For some strange reason, I bowed slightly, either out of respect or humility. I don't know which. Suddenly I was again aware of the two beautiful hosts who had brought me here, that were at my side. They bring him back to his plane. They are very friendly. And the one thing I have read about these humanoids, I feel like humanoids is such a degrading word for them. They're advanced beings. We're just going to say that.
Yeah.
So these advanced beings, very polite. Like, I don't see anything about them that's bad. And then they say, farewell, son. And then one of the hosts says, we must now make haste, Admiral, as the master desires to delay you no longer on your scheduled timetable, and you must return with his message to your race. And I added here because I didn't want to forget. But apparently, these beings can live up to 800 years old to 1,000 years old. And one of the five people that have visited and seen these people said one of the people they were talking to was 1,400 years old,
Huh.
which uh, to me, I don't know what's happening, but it just seems weird. Another person said they are between 400 to 800 years old. Um,
Hmm. That's a
there
little
was
bit of a difference.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just like, are you just exaggerating the age or is this all made up? I'm just gonna say you're exaggerating the age.
Yeah.
Um, but then one person that actually okay, so there's like four or five people that have visited Hollow Earth, or they claimed they were born there.
Oh.
Um, One of them accidentally stumbled upon them when they were on a boating trip, and the guy, quote unquote, accidentally um stumbled into this. All of a sudden he was in a green lush land. Don't know why, don't know how. A lot of people say that you just kind of you're just kind of there, like you're in one place and all of a sudden you're like, where am I? This is a whole different place. It's like it's seamless, you don't notice it,
Yeah.
which makes me believe, what if it's a different dimension?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, what if it's not actually in the earth? It's just another dimension.
Yeah, and maybe the dimension is located, obviously, in those sections, but like the, the this is what gets me about Hollow Earth. I don't think there's actual huge craters in the North and South Pole. I don't believe that at all. I think maybe there's tunnels. If so, maybe tunnels. But even then, I don't know. It's hard to say. But they're so technically advanced than us, apparently hundreds of years. We can't fathom what that technology is.
Yeah.
And that is what gets me. So it's just weird. Um I will say some stories that I do recommend looking into, and these are actual like they have actual people's names in here. And I believe the guy that was on a boat and he just stumbled into Hollow Earth was Carl Unger's story. And then you have Billy Frey Woodward's story, which he claimed him and his twin sister were born in the Hollow Earth and they were gifted children. Apparently, when they were little, they spoke a dead language, which I didn't really do a lot of research on, obviously, because I was just focused on this one story.
Hmm.
Um, then we have Olaf Jensen, which I think is funny. Olaf.
I like that.
Um, yeah, I think he just kind of stumbled upon it too. And I believe he had dinner with one of these wise ones. And then we have Dr. Nefeli Cotton's story about his patient. And I guess his patient basically had premonitions about this hollow earth theory, and he could describe everything perfectly of the stories that matched up to obviously other people's stories and Richard Byrd's story. And then this is the one I want to look into more because I am invested, and that is Dallas Thompson's story. And basically, he had dreams about Hollow Earth, and he was a researcher on Hollow Earth. And in 2003, he was planning to go to the North or South Pole. And just planning it, he mysteriously disappeared. No one has heard of him since. No one has tried to look for him. Nothing. He's just
Fuck.
gone. Yep. And I wish I can get more information about that. It fascinates me because I'm obviously with government, we've all heard those stories where they get rid of people, they find people dead in a lake and they're like, "Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh,
potassium poisoning."
oh, this guy. Oh, he's in jail. How do you get access to a noose? You mean that kind of thing?
Yeah. Like, "Oh, how did that get there? Oh, he must have I don't know." Like, yeah, no. You can't tell me. And I guess he has had to be vocal about his research with Hollow Earth because why would he just disappear? I mean, that is very I would think that's very hard to do.
Yeah. How do you, it's so hard to just completely disappear now.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, it was 2003 he disappeared, but still like obviously you would have nowhere place to go, but how would you buy food? And if you're stealing shit, obviously you're going to get caught one of those times, you know?
Hmm.
And just for no one to look. And like it was like, oh, he just disappeared. Like no family looked for him. Like I didn't see anything about his case. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds like
that
he got
is
taken care of.
yeah, yeah, the government JFK'd him.
Yeah, they JFK'd him. That's what we'll call it.
The government JFK'd them.
Perfect.
so, so yeah, that is my Hollow Earth little extravaganza. My opinion, I believe some of this stuff is possible. Do I believe this flat out? No, I don't. Is it interesting? Yes. Will I do research in my own time? Absolutely.
And you will go to the North Pole.
Yes. Also, too, I totally forgot about this. I have to show this video. So
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Google Doc, it said that when you go to Google Earth and you look at the north and south poles, there's a clear circle that looks like it's like covered up. And I was like, okay, this shit can't be real. Like, there's no way. But then I was like, I'm going to screen record it because if I don't, I'm going to regret it.
Hold
So
on.
I down.
Let me get
Oh,
the. No, you're good. I'm gonna screen share real quick so they can see it. Um, we're getting used to Streamlabs. Ow, Nova, please don't grab me. Okay. It is up. Tell me, do you want me to just start it now?
yeah.
Okay.
So I can't see it on the screen for some reason. It's still loading. It might just be delayed for me,
Oh yeah.
but basically, what's happening is I downloaded Google Earth on my iPad, and I I think in my screen recording, it shows me opening the app and then going to the north and south pole. And I can't remember which one it was, but I did see something suspicious um, that looked like it like could have been covered up by like a little thing. Because some people say that like when you look at photos from space, like there's one photo from space, excuse me, on here where like you can see like clear like circle, whether that's real or not I have no idea, but there's like clearly like either there's a circle and the clouds just aren't going over it or what. But I just thought that was interesting. Do I think the Google Earth thing is very accurate? No, but it is weird that I saw a circle that looks like it was trying to like hide something there.
Yeah, I just saw that in it where it's like you can see where it's like almost a perfect edge of a circle.
Yeah, it's and then I was like, and even like their like watermark of Google Earth was like kind of like following that circle, but then I was like, okay, well, does it follow any other ones? And it kind of does, but not really. It was just very strange to me.
Yeah, because I mean you can. Yeah, that's really weird. And there's weird shapes. There's like a plus sign there too.
Yeah, I yeah. And then there was also like a photo on there. I think I named it something. I'm not quite sure. What did I name it? Oh, space view of North and South Pole, where basically it shows like a hole like I was talking about earlier. But I mean, that could be anything. The only reason why I put this here is because modern day versions of the globe doesn't show this, and this is obviously like an older photo of it, and it's
Um,
just strange to me.
one I had up earlier. Yeah, that is really weird.
Also, guys, we're almost at our 10 followers goal. If you haven't followed already, you should. We're in currently in the test um phases of this podcast live ordeal, but you should still follow.
Yeah, we'll get better from here. It's a lot different than just recording on our own and then editing for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, plus with the live audience appeal to it too, it's nice because
Yeah.
if anyone wants to interact with us, we can always talk back and have a discussion in the chat.
Yep. And people can play the sounds and scare the crap out of me because it'll play directly into my ears.
Oh god. Ugh. So yeah, sorry that I took up an hour and 20 minutes,
No,
but
you're good. I'm kind of glad that yours went longer because I don't think mine's gonna be that long. Um, so I think it'll work out good.
okay, good. I thought I talked too much, but I did do
No, God!
I think my topic had a
No,
little
God,
bit
please,
more
no! No!
of
No!
like It wasn't just like telling a story. I kind of threw in a little bit of science and reasoning and my opinions in there, so hopefully it wasn't too boring.
It was not boring. I want to go now.
Okay,
Not.
go. I'm excited.
Oh no, I meant like go to the North Pole.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. I'm gonna go.
I was like, yeah, go. I'm excited to hear your topic. And then you're like, no, I want to go to North Pole. And I was like, oh yeah, that too. Yes, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we'll take pictures and then maybe we'll do a live stream from the North Pole. We'll see how it goes.
Oh my god, let us know down below. Should we go to the North Pole?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll start a poll. Should we
Should we go to the North Pole? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll be fine. Well, I guess like the only way I can kind of feel figure out a way to relate this is I read a book um to get all this information. Oh, someone said yes, we should go. So that's one vote for yes. So, well, 3 votes if you count you and me.
Yes, so that's 3 out of 6. We just need one more yes, and then we are going to the North Pole.
Yeah. We won't even start a GoFund. Oh, uh I'll start calling him Sir Shy. Sir Shy Guy said, "F it, why not?" So I guess he's it too.
Majority rules. We're going to the North Pole.
All right, guys. Well, fuck it. See you later. Um, so I read a book and I was like, I'm gonna do the podcast, my part of the podcast on um this topic. So the only way I can relate it is the name of the book is called Dr. Ice Pick, and you were talking about the North Pole and there's ice there, so there's always a connection.
Connections.
Yeah. So I don't know. I actually knew a lot of this story already because I cannot remember the name of his podcast right now, but Aaron Mahnke does his podcast and he's like really popular. I cannot remember the name of the podcast right now, but they turned it into an Amazon TV show and they did an episode on this and it was really good. So I recommend that if anyone just can figure out what it's based off of my little information. Um, but so this is about lobotomies. Super controversial, mostly frowned upon, I feel like, but it wasn't at one time. And this is the terrifying story of how lobotomies became sort of the go-to for medical treatment in the mid 1900s. So
God.
in 1952, uh, the story kind of starts at Huntington State Hospital in 1952. Uh, we follow Dr. Walter Freeman. I will pull up a picture of him. He's the guy with the wife beater and nailing something into someone's head.
Oh,
So he was the professor and chair of the neurology department at George Washington University, and he also ran a busy private practice. He was the former president of the American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology and of the Medical Society of the District of Columbia. So he's he's pretty well respected. He's up there. Um, Kind of like the Dr. Fauci, I would say.
gotcha.
So, oh yeah, someone said, Sarah Dillon 24 says, ew. Yeah, this is, I mean, that's probably the most, well, there's another, like, anatomy drawing, but, this might be kind of not the best topic for people who don't like squeamish stuff. He was also, like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but like I said, he's very high up. So behind, uh, we're at Huntington State Hospital, and behind locked doors on either side of the hall, the patients slept 3 to 4 to a bed in large open wards. So this is a mental hospital, obviously. And the problem is that the people that were put in these mental hospitals weren't, probably about half of them weren't even mentally ill. They were disabled or they were poor. Or
Oh
even
God.
they could have been none of the above and they were just put there by someone who didn't want to deal with them, such as, a husband says his wife's crazy to get rid of her, or you don't want your kid,
Oh,
so you throw him in the state hospital.
oh my
And they're
God.
and they're not separated. Like, I mean, like the people who are like beating the shit out of each other, they might be separated, but this is just everyone thrown together. So you've got like people who are like not mentally ill in a room with mentally ill people, and that's just not really a good combination. Thank you, Sarah Dillon, 24. They did a shout out for us to follow us.
Woohoo.
So like I said, they were sleeping 3 to 4 to a bed, and the wards were so crowded that they had to climb over each other to reach the bathroom. Um,
Oh
so
my God.
yeah, and the most violent were secluded, but they could have also been straitjacketed or chained to the furniture. So yeah, just chain them down.
Just Saturday vibes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
If a patient was incontinent, meaning they couldn't hold their bladder or bowels, they were tied to the toilet, um, or left naked in a room with the cement floor where they sat in pools of urine and feces.
Ew.
It just sounds like that is like a version of hell to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a really bad zoo. Like, just, I
Like a
mean, the
human zoo,
fact that
yeah.
people are just, yeah, the fact that people are just put there and there's no like rhyme or reason for it, or, there's, oh, God,
Yeah.
I
And this was
can't.
a mix, like some of the most common um abilities, not abilities, the most common mental illnesses, I wouldn't really call that an ability, but I guess that's what my brain said, were schizophrenia, depression, epilepsy, learning difficulties, and dementia. So you've got all these different people, and like I said, some people were just thrown there for no reason at all, like no good reason to put them in a hospital.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
it's a disaster, and this isn't the only hospital like this. You can pretty much find out that any institution in this time, the 1950s, earlier, and a little bit after this, they were all very similar in this way that they were just overcrowded, not funded enough, and it just, yeah, they were treated, Sarah Dillon 24 says they were treated worse than animals, and they were. Uh,
Yeah, that's.
they did I mean, like, they kept the children separate, the children's wards, um, however, were covered in paper to shut out the light. And there were babies as well. Like people just threw babies in there. And they were left alone in cribs all day. And there were no books or toys to play with. So actually, like the most fucked up thing.
Yeah, there's just no rhyme or reason. Even, I mean, back then, obviously, they had limited resources, but it's like there was no rhyme or reason to it. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna throw you here. Oh, I'm just gonna throw you here. Okay, we'll separate some, but like, no, you're gonna go here.
Yeah. And they'd have like 2 nurses on staff to take care of hundreds of patients because they weren't taking care of them. They just were like throwing a piece of bread and letting them get it like a bunch of wild animals.
God.
It's disgusting. But some of the treatments they would do on these patients, they would uh, do electroshock therapy, and um, there wasn't really any drugs at this time that could care for or work for these types of illnesses. I think they had like tranquilizers, but you know that's expensive and doesn't last that long. So it was a short-lived thing. Electroshock, kind of the same idea. But Dr. Freeman learned about lobotomies at an expedition he went to, I believe in Europe, and he decided to try it on the patients at Huntington State Hospital. So that would obviously be the lobotomy, though at the time it was not called a lobotomy. Uh, I don't think I have that written down, but it was some scientific term. So to,
So they're basically like test rats for
oh yeah,
him.
yeah, I mean like this,
Oh god.
he goes with the scientifically studied method here for a little bit, but then he goes, this is about Dr. I just want to make sure like this is about lobotomies, but also this is about Dr. Walter Freeman because he was a fucking psychopath. And you'll see that, and that's my main point here is like this dude was like he was a serial killer, but he got away with it.
Uh
So he preferred to use electroshock rather than an anesthetic, because in his
oh
words, uh, was easier to be administered to unruly patients, and because it hastened blood coagulation, so they wouldn't bleed out. Um, oh, and the other part was that they didn't need care afterward. So, like, you know, when you come out of anesthesia, you need like a lot of medical care until your body works it out of the system. Well, no, not with electroshock therapy. So you just throw them out of the room when they're done.
oh my
So,
god.
yeah, this was hard. It was hard to read some of this stuff because the abuse of power, yeah, it was definitely abuse of power. And I think this dude, he was just such a narcissist and a sociopath. He typically gave each of the patients between 2 to 4 jolts of electricity, which would induce seizures, depending, and the jolts would depend on the type, like the patient's size and their level of resistance. So uh, he uh, he had like observers all the time. Like as you can see in the picture, that's a real picture. Like that's not like a staged photo. This is what he did. It was a show, and he loved it when someone fainted that was watching. He loved that. He thought it was great.
Ugh.
And the reason he thought that lobotomy was the cure was because after the operation, the patients have lost their painful self-consciousness, which has contributed to so much of their trouble. And his catchphrase was actually lobotomy gets them home.
Well, goddamn, you poke their brain. Of course, they're not going to be the same.
Yeah. Like the learning of the brain right now is still so minimal, but back then, this was what, like 70, 80 years ago, it was even more minimal. More minimal. That's my new phrase. And in 12 days here at Huntington State Hospital, he lobotomized 228 men, women, and children from, oh, I'm sorry, that was from 5 different hospitals in the area of West Virginia. But yeah, 228 people.
It's so weird how like people back then, like when you are narcissistic and just power hungry, it's weird the careers they go into because obviously when you want to control people back then, well, you have more access to people when you're a doctor or when you feel like you are the greatest in the world and you can help all these people and you just, like you become a doctor or like nowadays people who are narcissists, they usually become somewhat of like a social influencer, or they try to get into acting. It's weird how when times go, people have narcissistic tendencies and are just power hungry, what careers they like kind of hop to.
Yeah, and there's so many doctors that in his throughout history, sorry, excuse me, have been caught doing shit like this. Well, I mean, like he didn't get caught, but like in our very first episode, Megan and I talked about Dr. Cream, who was a doctor, and then um, Jolly Jane, who was a nurse. And it's just like you trust this person to save you and help you, not to make you worse or kill you. So
Ugh,
it's just
God.
it's a power trip. Um,
Yeah.
so out of those 228 he lobotomized, four of them would die. Two of them died on the operating table. Um, about nine, I think it says nine would be left incontinent or unable to walk or talk coherently. So they're just fucked up forever because this dude just jabbed something into their heads.
My God.
This is a picture of sort of the procedure. I'll go into that in a few minutes, but he first, oh yeah, so this is where he learned about it. It began many years earlier. He was director of the laboratories at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C., and he went to a medical conference in 1935 in London. And this is when brain surgery was becoming it was possible, like it was starting to become a thing that we could do. And this would obsess him, knowing that there was the ability to alter behavior and emotions. That's like that power came from the brain and that he could change it. So he was a neurologist, though. He was not a surgeon. So he was not licensed to perform lobotomies by himself. And to get around this, he approached one of his coworkers at George Washington University, and his name was James Watts, and he basically was like, "You're going to be my operating partner, and that's how I'll be able to do surgery even though I'm not licensed." That's your first sign of like that's a red flag.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like I feel like I obviously we've heard this type of story over the years, but wasn't there a doctor that not like recently, but in the last like 20 to 50 years that kind of did the same thing, that claimed they're a doctor even though they have no certificate, and they just
Well,
I'm
I
looking
ha-
at this the little knife going through the eye to the brain, like holy crap, like how can anyone think this is even remotely humane?
yeah. And it does happen all the time. There's a story that just came out on, well, it's been out for a while, but they released a documentary on Netflix. I cannot remember the name of it. If someone in chat knows, go ahead and put it down, or you might even know, Hannah. It's this he was a fertilization doctor. And
Oh yeah.
did you watch that?
I didn't watch it, but a lot of people, I believe my mom watched it and she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like he was like a fertility doctor, and he would use his own sperm to impregnate women, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Without their knowledge, when they were knocked out, he would do it,
that's insane.
which is rape. I don't care, like there was no penis involved, it was rape.
Yeah, no, you can't just give someone your fucking sperm and carry your kid and have them have no knowledge of it.
Yeah. Well, the other problem, okay, I won't talk about the documentary. I recommend it because it's really good. So I would watch it for sure because there's a lot more to it, but um that's another hole that I would go down. Uh
Yeah.
so in 1932 is, or I'm sorry, the convention. Yeah, I think I said 1932. Well, in 1936, he performed his first operation on a living patient, which was Alice Hammett, who was a housewife from Kansas who suffered anxiety and debilitating depression. She was given a general anesthetic, and then all of her hair was shaved off, and he began boring holes into the top of her skull. So the procedure you're seeing on screen right now is the later version of a lobotomy. The earlier version was done not through the eye, it was done through the top of the head. When
Yuck.
the procedure was over and the patient came to, she was a different person. She laid motionless, her anxiety and terror entirely gone. And when he asked her if she could remember why she had felt so agitated before, her face was blank with no trace of emotion, and she replied, "I don't know. I seem to have forgotten. It doesn't seem important now."
Oh God.
Yeah, he just ruined her brain. So after that, they began operating under local rather than general anesthetic uh, because they thought that it would improve their results if the patient was awake during the procedure. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, this meant that they could hear the drill and they could hear the scraping of the surgical knife while he was cutting into their skulls. And during this, he would engage them in conversation or ask them to do like simple math. And if they became confused or disoriented, this is when he would stop cutting into their brain because, he went too far at that point.
I have no words. What the hell?
He also mainly operated on women. Out of his first 20 patients, 17 of them were female. And
Can somebody say mommy issues?
yeah, this dude was very fucked up. But everything about this is fucked up. So, and it keeps getting worse. So, this procedure you see on screen became known as the Freeman Watts standard lobotomy. He figured out um, using, he was looking for some sort of instrument that could pierce the frontal lobe through the eye socket and get rid of the need to drill holes in the skull. And he couldn't find an object that was perfect for this. And then he was at his home and saw that an ice pick was perfect. So he devised this method of giving people lobotomies. And in 1941, him and Watts were approached by the father of Rosemary Kennedy, who was the sister of JFK. So we're full circle now.
Oh, that's the doctor that messed up one of the Kennedys.
Yep,
Oh my God.
yep. She had been so when her mom, which I believe the mom's name is Rose, was giving birth to Rosemary Kennedy, the doctor was running late to get there to deliver her, and the nurse literally told her to keep her legs tight together so the baby wouldn't come out. Um, but that's not how things work, and the daughter, Rosemary, was starved of oxygen at birth and had cognitive disabilities. I don't really know how extreme this was. If you look at pictures of her from before she just, disappeared, uh, she looked perfectly fine. I'm assuming from this, it says she was 23 and was having mood swings and behaved erratically. And that was according to her father. So, I mean, she was just acting like a 23-year-old.
Yeah, cause wasn't it like cause she I remember like this is so weird and random, but at my work they always have like true crime shows on, and I remember them talking about this and me being like, I didn't I'm not really, I don't know how many Kennedys there are, so when I was like they have a sister, I was like, oh God, I gotta
Hmm.
listen to this.
The whole
And
family is so fucked up.
yeah, and like at the age of 23 until she died, she was just in a nursing home. She didn't do anything, nothing. No one came to visit her. She just literally died alone. Like,
Yep.
how? That's fucked up. Like, I like the Kennedys, you know, they put on a good show, but behind the scenes, man, they were fucking dark people.
Yeah. I mean, they saw her behavior as an embarrassment. So the dad was like, "Hey, you know what? I think she needs a lobotomy."
Oh god, yeah, that's insane. Just those times back then too, like the morals and the mentality of image is everything. That, I mean, that could be a whole discussion on its own, but that's insane to me. Like you're going to drill into someone's brain through their eyeball because they got mood swings.
Yep.
Oh
It's
god.
horrible. But the other thing is that the father, Joe, this was his doing. He insisted this was kept a secret, and Rosemary was never consulted about this. Not even her mother knew about this operation. Uh, I see, like, right here it says, as Watts cut into Rosemary's brain, Freeman had her sing "God Bless America," and when she reached the chorus, he joined in. When she became incoherent, he stopped cutting. Well, the operation was disastrous, obviously. She could no longer look after herself. She was incontinent, her speech was slurred, and she walked with a limp. Um, One of the nurses who was uh, in the room at the time of the procedure was so horrified by what she saw that she left the medical profession, and Rosemary would be dependent on caregivers for the rest of her life. Of course, like we said, the Kennedys, oh, that's a scandal, like that would ruin our image. They never spoke out publicly about the failure of the lobotomy, and this didn't come out till like I believe the late 80s. Um, like no one knew what happened to her. They just said she was a recluse. So
Ugh. That just the yeah, that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like imagine your life stopping when you're 23 and
yeah,
just because your parents didn't want to fucking deal with you. Like, really?
yeah, and it's not like she'd lost her memories. Like she still knew who she was, and not one person from her brothers or her I don't know if they had other daughters, but her parents, no one ever came to visit her. And there's really nice, it's a really sweet, like the caretakers at this place she was at for the remainder of her life. They were always so nice to her. There's really cute pictures online if anybody wants to look that up.
Aww.
Um, so yeah, fuck everybody involved in that. Uh, and I already talked about his new procedure. Um, so this new thing was doing with putting the ice pack through the eye, this cut the operating time from several hours to 10 minutes. And it didn't require an anesthetic, an operating theater, or a surgeon because it's not surgery. You're just stabbing someone, I guess.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, a 10-minute procedure, and it just fixes you forever. So, by 1952, this is medical mainstream. Like, this is what everybody wants. And physicians around the country carried out 30,000 such procedures around that time. It was titled the West Virginia Lobotomy Project, but the press gave it kind of a better name called Operation Ice Pick.
God.
Um,
And just so everyone knows, Rosemary Kennedy, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
oh yeah, if you can see those pictures, and when before this all happened, when she was in the public media and everything, and she was just like, she looks perfect.
Yeah.
But more about Dr. Freeman being a psychopath.
Oh
So, you know
god.
how they talk about serial killers? They keep mementos or they like to revisit the crime scene.
Oh god.
Um,
Yeah.
well, he had a road map, um, and on the map, he kept dozens of small white pieces of paper that had handwritten names and addresses of patients who he had operated on in 1952 who were now living back at home with their families. So um, he, over the next few weeks, would clock up thousands of miles on what he described as head and shoulder hunting expeditions through West Virginia. He, that references he would take photos of each of the patients, like before and after pictures of all of his patients, and he would go and visit every single one of these people and provide. He would do like a short interview with them and their families, and then go home and like put this all together, like a scrapbook of all the shit he did.
I wish everyone could see my face right now. I am disgusted.
It's horrible. Like I looking at this when I was reading, it was like instant connection. Like this is serial killer shit.
Yeah.
But he
Like,
was just
yeah.
being a doctor, being a, he was just doing science.
Yeah, someone who after you fuck up like your patient and you go back to interview them, like you want to see something that is like you like to see the torture of it. Like I can't even put into words like how it is. It's disgusting. Like who messes up someone and then holds an interview and takes before and after photos and thinks that you made a work of fucking art. Like you just damaged a human being.
He thought he was God. But the thing is that while he did these interviews, like it was such a short amount. He'd like maybe stay for dinner and then leave. What the issues that these lobotomies caused on people probably would not have been seen in like an hour period of time. This is something that you spend days with these people and it's just like a living hell because they're not their brains have been scraped with an ice pick. They're not okay.
My God. It,
But
yuck.
he didn't feel sympathy at all. He described them as inspiring a weird mixture of fear, disgust, and shame. So he's just a piece of shit. Uh, he
Yeah.
he didn't have a good relationship with his father. He's got daddy issues, big surprise. And
Yeah.
he had two young sons. Or no, I'm sorry, he had five sons, but um I'll get to the youngest one in a second, but he would do operations at his office. I don't know if he did them in his house, but he would have his sons assist him sometimes by pinning a patient down while he operated. So nice job scarring your
Oh,
kids.
oh my God. The fact that you have to hold down your patient, like it just makes me feel like what else went on that obviously the patients either can't remember or they literally can't speak about.
Hmm. Yeah,
Ugh.
it's entirely fucked up. And there's this small sad story for him. I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for his wife, but in 1946, this was before he was doing the ice pick thing. He was still just doing regular lobotomies, but he was hiking with his five sons in Yosemite National Park when 11-year-old Keen, his second youngest child, stopped to fill his flask at the top of a waterfall. He lost his footing and fell in, and before Freeman could get to him, he was swept away by the river and he drowned. 11 years old.
Oh my God.
And his wife and him, were never, they didn't seem like they had too good of a relationship to begin with, but he refused to talk to his wife Marjorie about their son's death and laughed off the suggestion that he seek professional help, pointing to the high rates of suicide among psychiatrists as evidence that the entire profession was flawed. So he didn't think psychiatry was helpful at all, that it was just a sham and putting into people's brains was the way to go when you're fucked up about something. So yeah, their
Oh
relationship
my God.
quickly
Gross.
crumbled. yeah, he ends up alone in the end, which is cool. But another note here, this is kind of random. This is how the book was laid out, so how I took my notes. But um, he thought that lobotomy could treat drug addiction. I'm sorry, this wasn't just him. The medical world thought that this could be used to treat drug addiction, and it was even touted as a cure, in quotations, for homosexuality. So, typical
It,
1950s thinking right there.
yeah.
Uh, well, this is just a couple more instances of lobotomies he did on people. Anne Ruth Noel of West Virginia, she was 25 and pregnant when he lobotomized her in 1950. She wasn't mentally ill or a resident in an asylum or a hospital. She was a housewife and a mother who was suffering from chronic headaches and anxiety, which he promised her a lobotomy would cure. Uh, of course, the operation didn't cure her headaches. Instead, it left her as helpless as a newborn child. She couldn't feed herself, go to the bathroom, and couldn't speak. And she was combative. She was pregnant. So that's like really nice of him to do.
God.
Another time, he had forgotten his surgical hammer. And uh, instead of like, oh, we'll do this procedure a different day, he sent an aide to borrow one from the caretaker. He ended up using a wooden mallet that was used by cooks to tenderize meat that was brought from the hospital kitchen. He used that to do the ice pick thing. It's
Oh
just
my
this just
God.
it's so fucked up. Every line is fucked up. Uh, he had a nurse that assisted him in operations at the University of Virginia, and she described watching in disbelief as the lobotomist operated on both sides of the brain simultaneously for no reason other than for show. She said, Dr. Freeman looked up at us smiling. I thought I was seeing a circus act. So that's all this was to him. It was a show and it was about him and it was fun. Serial killer.
Yeah. Yeah. He it was like he did this to put on a show. It was, yeah, he had like a god complex. Like he's playing God.
Yeah. He was like, look what I can do. Everybody watch. Isn't this funny? Look, I'm fucking up these people's lives and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, too, for the viewers, I put a sick ass photo of Rosemary Kennedy in the Google Drive, and she's on a boat. She's living her best life. She looks, oh, it's iconic.
well, I'll share it right now.
Like, this makes me happy seeing it because at least she didn't like just rot away in like a nursing home of some sort. Like, I'm glad she at least had hopefully someone to just look after her and be there for her, because I mean, from what I'm seeing, none of her brothers or family visited her. Like, what the hell?
Well, they didn't. Well, I know for a fact the parents never did, not the mother or father. I don't know if her brothers did, but the thing is that the family wasn't aware of it. Like the parents told them something, some other story. So like part of
Oh
it's
my
not their
God.
fault, but later on, I mean, I don't. It's fucked up.
Yeah, but I thought that photo was epic. Like,
It
look at
is.
her. She has a glass in a hand. She's on a boat, living her best life.
I want to go on that boat.
No
Um,
kidding. Me too.
the ironic thing about this procedure was that the Soviet Union, of all places, fucking Russia, banned the procedure in 1950 on the basis that it was contrary to the principles of humanity. and then Germany and Japan followed. I thought that was funny because 5 years before that, Germany was locking people up in concentration camps, and Japan was doing very similar things at some point, and also like Russia is just known for that kind of craziness. So
Yeah.
funny that they banned it in 1950, and here in 1952, Freeman's just over here in the United States fucking people up. Well, his practice would come to a quick end because chlorprom chlorpromazine chlorpromazine, that sounds right, chlorpromazine, an antipsychotic drug marketed under the name Thorazine, became extremely useful and way cheaper and way easier than having people get lobotomized.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and he was like, guys, no, 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 no. Guess what? Lobotomies can also treat tuberculosis. That isn't true. Like he that was like his last try to get people to continue to let him lobotomize was that it was a cure for tuberculosis. Well, that it didn't work, and then they were like, yeah, fuck you, we're going with the medication. So this was like not just his, like, obviously he's not the only one performing lobotomies, but in this way and at this rate, and of course he invented this new procedure. This was all him.
Oh my
um
god.
so yeah, and like I mentioned, he took photographs of every patient he ever operated on. He liked to look at them to remind himself of the good he had done, and he liked to listen to their voices, so he also had voice recordings of them as well. Uh, and just one last little story about lobotomies. So he was not allowed to operate in hospitals anymore. He was allowed to have his own practice, but he wasn't, to go around to different hospitals and just like lobotomize 200 people a day. Uh, so his business was obviously just a failure at this point. And in God damn it, my cats just knocked my crystals down. Um, in the fall of 1960, he received a visit from Lou Dolly. This lady, she was having problems with her stepson, and described him disagreeable and as a disagreeable and difficult child who did not like to wash, objected to going to bed despite being tired, refused to pick up after himself, and went outside in a sweater on sunny days. So, um, teenager shit.
Yeah.
His name was Howard,
God.
and the stepmom was like, mm, he's acting like a teenager, not a fan. So 2 weeks later, he was lobotomized. He was 12. And when he came to, he had a splitting headache, two black eyes. I'll put up a picture real quick on the stream. This is not Howard, but this is a picture. Why is this not working? Hold on, I think I have to remove. Oh no. I'll just share my screen because this isn't working for some reason. When a lobotomy would be performed, this is what it would look like after the procedure. You would have two black eyes and it would be swollen for days. It would literally look like this, super swollen. This is not Howard. This is just a photo of one of his patients. I don't even know if it's his. It's just a lobotomy patient.
Oh my god.
So that is what it would look like after lobotomy. So imagine this is Howard, and this is what he looked like after. And even, he had a lobotomy, and weirdly enough, it was only $200. That seemed pretty reasonable, but it didn't change him. and it didn't improve his relationship with his stepmom, who persuaded Howard's father to make him a ward of the state. So,
Oh my god, these parents were
mm,
wild and out.
yeah,
What
what
the
the?
hell?
But it's not even. It was the stepmom. I don't. Ugh, it's so frustrating.
Uh,
Uh,
like my mom could have sent me to the state when I was like little. If that blows my mind. I did not know that. Like every little person, like they were just like sent places without like rhyme or reason.
there are so many stories of husbands who just sent their wives for lobotomies or sent them to these hospitals to get rid of them to get with somebody else because they didn't like being a husband and having because it's like the 50s and the 60s, so women weren't really working. um it's just fucked up.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Just to kind of end things, I know we've been going for 2 hours. Freeman was diagnosed with cancer in 1967. um, Lots of pain, but weirdly enough, he did not put himself forward for a lobotomy as he had advocated others to do in the past.
Strange. I
Yeah,
wonder why.
you think if it works, why not just do it?
Yeah, that's like poor people. Like obviously they didn't know, but it's like damn, that
Yeah.
sucks.
It's so crazy to me that he got away. Like he might not, he did kill people. Like multiple people died during the like 20 years that he was doing this. But
Oh my 20?
yeah, well, yeah, because he started at about 1935 and he was doing it in 1960, so it was a while.
Oh my god. That oh god. Poor
Just,
people. And the fact that they did this surgery for like so like minimal reasons.
hmm or
Oh,
even no
that
reason.
yeah. And the fact that people were just like, yeah, you're going to be the ward of the state now. Yep, you're going to be the like oh my god. If I lived back then, I would be in the ward of the state. I would be a hellion to them.
Same. Yeah,
Oh my
like
god.
imagine, because this was like pre-medication, like the Thorazine, I believe it's called. That was the first drug that wasn't just a tranquilizer that would help. And then from that point forward, the lobotomy was no one's doing lobotomies anymore. If they are, it's illegal or like super rare. Uh,
Yeah.
but because there's medicine now that helps people instead of just destroying their lobotomies never helped. They literally just destroyed part of your brain instead of giving you the chemical imbalance evened out that medication gives you.
Yeah.
So it's just he's a serial killer. Like he killed people, but he also like he didn't just kill people. He mutilated them, and he got away with it because people thought, oh, this is better than dealing with someone who's mentally ill. And a lot of times, like we were talking about, they didn't even have to deal with them. They just gave them away to the state. Like, here's another one for you.
Yeah, that's just the system in that time period is insane. Like it really shows that no one knew anything. Like they're just like, who cares? It's like they just threw like something into the problem. Like they didn't think about that bugs me. I hate that.
hmm They just did it because it was a solution to the overrun facilities and it was cheap, and they were like, oh, this is a way to free up space in our facilities. So that's the only reason he got away with what he did.
God.
So yeah, that's a little bit of on lobotomies for you. That's Dr. Freeman, piece of shit. Let's give a round of applause for Dr. Freeman.
Boo.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Um, yeah. Oh my God. So we've been doing this for over 2 hours now, and I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee so bad.
Yeah, I need to go to bed. I have to be up by 5 a.m.
Oh God, yeah, I have to get up at an hour later, so I'm gonna get going too. But I think that went really well. You know, two very different stories, but
Yeah, but it all came together. At least, some people might like the history part and the weird, just fucked up version of a lobotomy. And then some people wanted to come for hollow earth theory. So it works.
yeah, a little bit of different topics. I think that's good. I like that instead of doing like just a theme every time. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you, everyone who stopped by tonight and who will be watching this. I'm gonna put this up on our YouTube channel, once the VOD is available. Um, and then we should be good. And then I think hopefully, what is the next time we'll be podcasting? Show me my calendar computer. The 24th. I don't know if Megan will even be able to make that one because I think she's moving the week after that. So,
Yeah. And if she does, maybe she'll be here for like commentary or anything like that. But now that we know it's the 24th, I want the next topic to be even more epic.
and I'm gonna do something probably paranormal next time. I don't know. This was kind of just something that popped up to me, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. So,
Yeah.
uh,
We just kind of pick topics at random, something that piques our interest. So hopefully whoever is watching this and has been watching this, hopefully you guys liked it and you guys should follow us. And do you follow or subs oh, you follow on Twitch. Okay,
we
sorry.
do. Well, you can follow us right now on Twitch. You can always follow, but people can subscribe to us once we get affiliate status, if we do. There's a certain amount of criteria we have to meet over a period of time, in order to get that, and then people can subscribe. They'll give us like
Ooh.
way more fun options, like emotes and stuff of that sort, which we can hopefully get in the future. But yeah,
Yes.
right now they can definitely follow us on here, and then we have a Facebook page, an Instagram page. We had a Twitter. We don't really use it. I don't like Twitter that much. And then our YouTube channel, which is just Oddify Podcast. The link is in on our Twitch channel. Um, Everything's kind of linked together. You can find links to all our other pages. All the old episodes are on YouTube as well. And then last thing I wanted to say is that if anyone has any suggestions, like if there's something you want to hear about, let us know because I will gladly um, do a topic that you guys want to hear. So
Same.
yeah, if I have a direction, right now it's just kind of like, what sounds interesting to me? But I got my degree in history, so research is no problem. Hannah's good at researching, obviously. Um, so yeah, just you can let us know. You can whisper us on here on Twitch. You can comment on YouTube, send us a message on Facebook, post to our Facebook page. Anything. You can email us audifypodcast@gmail.com, and we will do our best to get what you guys want to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end now. The end of stream. I'll still be able to talk to you. So
All
see you guys
right.
later, and keep it odd.
Keep it odd.